Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Jack Lower of Rochester Football. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm good. So I know the season did come to an end. I know you didn't make playoffs, but you did end your the season on a high note with two straight wins.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was a nice way to end it.
Okay, so kind of just talk about getting those the last few wins after I know you guys aren't going to the playoffs and stuff like that. I know the season's over, but it was still a pretty successful year as well.
hmm Yeah, it was nice, especially because after that kind of there was like a little stretch in the season where it just wasn't going too great. It was nice to have those end on those two pretty dominant wins, just because built some confidence up in the juniors and sophomores for next year, make them feel like they're because they are a good team next year, hopefully. And just kind of it was nice to also it was nice to end our senior season as seniors, just dominating some kids, having a good year.
Yeah. So going into this season, what was it just like for you to go into your senior year? What did you want to accomplish, and did you accomplish what you wanted to do?
So probably the main goals I had, one of them was like a personal one was just leave it all. And I know I can say for a fact that I did that with all the hours I put in through summer, fall, winter, all of it. I mean, I know I put my heart out for that team and then didn't really accomplish the goal of team just ending with the record we had. It just wasn't where I wanted. I wanted us to get in the playoffs, make a run, but didn't work out like that. I mean, you gotta earn everything. We just didn't do enough to earn it this year. And it's unfortunate, but hopefully next year they can.
Yeah. Um, Remind everybody what position you play again.
I'm a linebacker and a running back.
Okay. So like I don't think I've ever asked you this, but how'd you become a linebacker?
So I was a linebacker in middle school. And then eighth grade, I went to like a private school team, and I played guard and nose tackle there. But then freshman year, said I wanted to play running back. Said I wanted to play linebacker. Got put in a linebacker. Played some fullback too, but linebacker's kind of always been the position since I could play where like I wanted to play that position. That's kind of been my what I've wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then running back kind of just happened.
How did that did you just came out of nowhere?
It was very fun. My junior year, there was no thoughts of me being a running back, but I tell my coach after practice a ton, Coach, you got to give me a shot at running back. Kept telling him over and over. Gave me a shot at her scrimmage, and I did pretty good. So he was like, "I guess you're running the ball," and then got a lot of carries junior year.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I know we kind of talked about like how you kind of mentally get ready. Like, what's like a routine for you? Like, you know, I know like everyone has their own ritual before like they got ready. Like, what was it like getting ready for like your final two games, knowing that okay, this is probably going to be it? How did you?
Uh, well, the routine is usually get home, get some Chipotle, then I'll go do some stretching, and then watch just recap on all the film I've watched, make sure everything's right in my head, go over my plays mentally. And then other than that, it's just kind of getting in that mindset of playing football because it takes a special kind of mindset to go out there on that field. So most of it was mental besides that stuff.
Um, okay, so now that your high school career is done, take me through that last game. Like, what was it like, going on a bus 40 minutes all the way to Walled Lake Northern and all that?
Well, that bus ride was wrong. I slept through most of it just because it was just a long one. Felt like I needed my rest before that game. And then it was just kind of stepping on that field when that national anthem was playing. I was just thinking, this is the last time I'm gonna step on a football field. I want to remember it how I like as the player that I know I am. So I just kind of thought about going out there and just leaving the mark that I would want to leave for other people to think of me as.
Yeah. How would, it's like they always say, like, what do you want to? I know you've accomplished a lot of things in this program the last few years, but what do you want? I don't want to say like, what do you want people to remember you and all that stuff? Because I mean, there, people do have connections to the program and all that stuff. So I don't know. I don't want to ask how you want to be remembered, but what do you think people would remember you if they were to, or something, if you
Oh,
know?
yeah, I feel like people are gonna remember me as my dad says a lot as one of those old running backs from the NFL back in the day, just running hard, running over people, one of those guys. And then one of the things people are gonna remember me as is the guy that cleans up the field. After every home game, I'd always be cleaning up the field, and it like pylons, posts, stuff like that. And it's nice because it's kind of caught on. A lot of kids are doing it now, so I feel like that's gonna be one of the things that I'll remember for too.
Absolutely. Um, what does like football mean to you, Jack?
Uh, it's just it's kind of like it's a great like kind of way to football for me is kind of like a great way to test my ability both physically and mentally to its highest capacity because you have to be a physical enough to be fit enough to play football. It takes doesn't just take a what you do at practice. That's not enough to be a efficient football player. You need to spend tens of hundreds of hours in the weight room at speed training, position training, all that stuff, building your knowledge. And then leadership wise, I mean, you gotta, if you're going to be a captain of a team, you have to be a elite leader. You have to do it. Like you have to lead in a sense that you have to take all the blame for everything that happens on the team, no matter how much it is or it isn't your fault, because what every player does in that field is in some way your responsibility as a leader. It's just kind of leading with that mindset that's so hard and so great about football. And like, that's what it means to me, just being an elite leader and being as physical and fit as possible.
Yeah. What was the best moment? Okay, I'm gonna ask you two things. Best moment from this year and then best moment from your career.
Best moment this year was I'd probably say the Berkeley game. It was just so fun because there were so many guys on the team that got to play that game and were making plays. It was like just seeing some of those kids that haven't really gotten to see in the field making their plays finally. It was really great to see. And because just kind of coming back to that, like I care about what the team does, and that was probably it was very fun. All the starters were out that second half, and just all the starters were hyping up everyone on the sideline. It was just a really fun environment to be in, even though it was an away game. And then career wise, it was beating Stony playoff game, getting our Rochester's first ever playoff win my sophomore year. I'll probably never forget that game. That game was legendary.
Yeah. What's next for you? Oh,
Um, Next, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm hoping, still talking to a couple colleges. Like, I have an offer from Hope, Lawrence Tech, and then still trying to talk to Grand Valley, see if there's anything there. And then if football ends up not working out for me, I think I'm going to try to pursue something in wrestling just because I've really enjoyed that too. But I definitely want to play a sport in college at whatever college I go to.
um, so what will you miss most about high school football?
Things I miss most is just how tight the team is, and just kind of like that community environment you're playing in. Like when you got a home game and everyone from the community is there to watch, and it's you and your friends and all the kids at your school that you go to class with. You guys are close family. Just that feeling of just closeness and connectedness when you're playing the sport for sure.
Yeah. Um, and then, you got wrestling coming up, which starts in, I believe, a few weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Mhm.
Preview what the upcoming year is going to be like for you.
Hoping to come out in March as a state champ. That's the goal. That's been the goal since I got fifth last year, and I've been in the club, work, been in the strength wrestling club, working on that, getting ready because that's the goal for this year. I mean, yeah, state champ. state champ or bust type thing for me this year. Not going to be satisfied unless I'm at the top of the podium.
All right. Jack, always a pleasure for you. It's a pleasure to come on here, and we'll talk to you later on in the year. How about that?
All right, sounds great.